praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send our salutations and our prayers upon our beloved and example Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family and his companions. So alhamdulillah, this wonderful trip is coming to a close. We have a few more hours together. So I wanted to share some words, inshallah, and get us to think about some things. We're talking about aspiring to inspire others to do well. Shaitan has a trick where he usually will come and whisper to you and tell you that you're not good enough to inspire others to do well. That you yourself is not doing well. You don't do good. You do some mistakes. You sin. So who are you to tell others to do something that's proper, or to do something good, or to correct them? Right? We all have those thoughts. So this is one of the tricks of Shaitan. He will come to you and tell you that you're not good, that you're not in a place where you're supposed to talk. Leave that to someone else who is better. And should not listen to that. And that question is very common. Actually, one of the companions of the Prophet who actually asked the Prophet that question. He said, "O Messenger of Allah, should we enjoy which is right, even though we don't do it ourselves all the time? And should we prohibit people from doing wrong, even though we fall into it sometimes? Or should we just pretty much be quiet and not do that because we're not doing it ourselves?" So the Prophet ﷺ told him, no. You should enjoy the right even though you don't do it all the time. And you should prohibit that which is wrong even if you fall into it. This is from the Prophet ﷺ. So as an example, you see somebody that you know who's doing something wrong. You either used to do it before, the same action even, or you even still do it now. Should you say something? Yes, we should, right? We should say something. Because prohibiting that person from doing wrong will still be on your mizan of hasanat. You'll still give the reward for that person stopping from doing wrong, or for them doing the right thing as well. You get rewarded as if you have done it. And it will actually kind of somewhat compel you to also uphold your own word and do it, right? It will inspire you yourself when you see somebody else who took your advice. It will be much easier for yourself to actually follow through with it and do it as well, right? It will be a lot easier for you psychologically and mentally, just more prepared now to be actually there and actually do it. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make that easy for us, inshallah. But in moving forward, inshallah, we're not looking to criticize people. So I'm not asking you to go around and look at people's mistakes, what he's doing, what she's doing. I'm going to watch them. Aha, mistake. Don't do it. Right? We don't want to be tyrants like this. But if you do come across something, or you do see something, you want to say something. Right? It is also a duty for us to enjoy the right and to forbid the wrong, no matter what it is. But use wisdom, use kindness, use compassion in the way that you deliver that information to that person, the same way you want it to be delivered to you. Inshallah. So we want to go out with the few lessons that we've been learning for the last few days. We want to connect with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? We want the Quran to actually touch our hearts. We want the Quran to move us and inspire us. We want to learn from the Quran as much as we can. First, we start with the correct recitation of the Quran. It is important. Every single Muslim have to recite the Quran properly. No excuses. Right? Shaitan again will come to you. It's not Arabic, it's not your language. Allah knows what you're going to say. Just say it. It doesn't work that way. It is very disrespectful that knowing that it's the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we don't put enough care to actually know how to pronounce it correctly. And by the way, a lot of the times we make small mistakes, even if you come from an Arab country, by the way. We still make a lot of mistakes that will change the meaning completely. And trust me, you don't want to make those mistakes. And I'll just give you 2 examples really quick. And so when we start reading the Quran, what do we start with? Like you're about to sit down, you open a Mus'haf, you're about to read. What's the first thing you say? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. The isti'adah, which means what?
Protection from all.
I seek refuge.
Yes, I seek refuge by Allah from shaitan and curse. But most of us make the mistake, by the way, in Sudan we make the exact same mistakes that you guys do in this regard right here. We don't say a'udhu, we say a'udhu. Right? We make that mistake, it's very common. You know what that changes the meaning to? That changes the meaning to, I swear by Allah, I need Shaitan. Just changing the that to that. Awz, literally in Arabic, means extreme need. So you actually say, I swear by Allah, I need from Shaitan. Just by changing that pronunciation one letter. Right? So you all imagine over here you asking Allah to protect you from Shaitan, the entire time you said, oh Allah, I need Shaitan in my life. Right? Just by that mistake. It changes the meaning completely to the opposite. Right? The same thing, for example, Alhamdulillah. We use that in the Fatiha, we use that very often in responding to each other, how are we doing? What does Alhamdulillah mean?
Praise be Allah.
It's actually thanking Allah, but in a praiseful way. So there's praise and thanks to Allah at the same time. Right? But most people, or some people, from depending on the language they come from, will mispronounce it Alhamdulillah instead of Alhamdu. Ha instead of Ha. It changes from praise and thanks to extinguishing and putting out. Like how we put out a fire, that's the exact same word we use in Arabic for putting out fire. Hamazat enough, meaning the fire has been extinguished, it's been put out. So instead of saying praise to Allah, you're saying take Allah out. You see how it changes? So it's very, very important for us to take care of pronunciation when it comes to the Quran. As long as you do your due diligence, you're in the clear, even if you make mistakes. Right? So I don't want to scare you into saying, I don't want to read Quran because I don't want to make mistakes now. Don't do that. Right? Don't let Shaitan trick you that way. So you don't want to mistakes, you don't want to make mistakes, you want to study as much as you can. As long as you are trying to correct yourself, you are in the clear. The Prophet ﷺ actually said that whoever recites the Quran and makes some mistakes in it, unintentionally, not knowingly, the angel who writes down your words will actually write it as if you have recited it correctly. Right? Given that, you are trying your best and you're trying to learn. But if you don't care to learn, you have the means, you have some teachers around, you're able to actually attend sometime and all of that, but you're just like, I'm good, I'm okay. It becomes sinful. Every mistake that you read in the Quran, it becomes a sin. So we have to take care of that and make sure that we pronounce it correctly. And after we do that, and while we do that, we want the Quran, like I said before, is to serenade us. You want to be kind of in an attitude where you enjoy the Quran, right? That you just can't get enough of it. And you also want it to change your heart, change your mind, to affect you in a sense where you can see it immediately. Once I just recited the Quran or listen to someone recite the Quran, my feelings are very different, my attitude is very different. I am a better person right now, right? Doesn't matter how long you will last at the moment, because the more you keep reciting, the more the effect will continue and last. And will be ongoing, will be on the long term, inshallah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first to fill our hearts with the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us of the Quran that we'll be ignorant of, and to remind us that of the Quran that we have forgotten, and allow us all to be from the people of the Quran who act, say, and do everything according to the Quran, inshallah. The other thing that we talked about is also looking into heroes that we've had throughout Islamic history. I know I've talked about most of the Sahaba, and I've talked about one story from the Quran, but our Islamic history is riddled with many, many heroes who came across, alhamdulillah, many different times. Actually, there was an Indonesian freedom fighter. If I'm not mistaken, her name is Satita or something like that. You guys heard that name before? No? Okay. So there's a sheikh, actually she was a hafidah as well, and she was a freedom fighter who used to lead Indonesians in fight against fighters from outside of Indonesia, right? And she was known for that. And she used to teach Quran and she used to lead the armies as well. And I believe her name is Satita. I'll send you guys the name to look it up, inshallah. But you also have some leadership that came from there, that history, we need to look it up, right? Sadly, a lot of times we're not familiar with our own history. And the people before us don't have heroes because they forgot their history. And they lost their youth, and then from there, lost the entire movement or lost entire communities. And we don't want to have that. So we want to look back into our history. We want to look at the people that we need to look up to and see what they have done to become successful. Right? The stories in the Quran, the stories in the Seerah, the stories of the people that came after. We want to see their success. How did they become successful? Even our scientists, for example. We know Islam, for example, we've led the world when it comes to scientific discovery and technology and all of that for hundreds of years. But if you look at the scholars who've actually done that, they all had a very similar upbringing, right? Those who are in chemistry or physics or astronomy, whatever it is, they all started studying Quran and Hadith, and they were scholars in it first. And from there they went into physics, and they went into chemistry and math and everything else, and medicine and all of that. And many times the discoveries were actually from the Quran. And I remember I had a talk with the youth some months ago, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It was about, actually almost a year ago. It was the tafsir of Surah Tabarak. And I mentioned in it that there is an ayah in the second page of Surah Tabarak where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, how come they don't look at the birds, how they are flying above them and nothing holds them up except the most merciful. And I said that ayah and another ayah in the Quran that talks also about how flying objects or birds are flying in the sky, nothing holds them up except Allah. Same thing, but here Allah used Allah and here is used Rahman. So there is a scholar by the name of Abbas ibn Farnas who lived hundreds of years ago in Spain. And he looked at that ayah and this ayah, and he, with his upbringing, with his Islamic scholarship, he understood that there's a difference. He said, you know what, from what I've learned, Allah uses the word Ar-Rahman when He talks about living beings. And Allah uses Allah when He includes living and non-living things. So that means, in this ayah Allah is talking about birds. In this ayah Allah is talking about birds and things that fly that are not alive. That means we can fly. So He devised something to actually help him to fly, and that was the first human being to actually successfully fly. He actually put that. He was a physicist as well. But the thing is, his idea came from him reading the Quran, doing his dhikr and doing all of that, and then he said, hold up. He started thinking about it, and then he went into his lab and then created that device. So it actually comes from the Quran. You will see many of the discoveries that we have that we use nowadays, that comes that way. The same thing with the camera. Like the camera was actually invented in Al-Azhar, the university that's known inside of the Masjid, by a scholar as well, who was a physicist and mathematician, but he was also a Muslim scholar as well. So I know a lot of times we think that we separate the two. I want to learn Islam, but I also want to learn science and all of that. Two are the same. If they get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it's worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the Quran, we are told to look in the sky and look in the earth and look at everything and learn about the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So don't ever think that that's different and I need to study Islam separate. No. Studying those sciences, if you have the right intention, it is also worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are supposed to actually do that. Right? So all of that inspiration comes from the Quran. And if all of that comes from the Quran, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how it touches the heart and changes you and all of that, then we have to look for that effect from the Quran when we read it, inshallah. So again, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts with the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be moved by the Quran and not allow us to be among those people who only recite the Quran and it doesn't go past their throats. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow the Quran to penetrate our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to soften our hearts and not let us like the people who argued with Musa alayhi salam in those ayat that are read in Salat al-Fajr. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to soften our hearts, put mercy and kindness in it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always keep us in close kinship. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us all to help each other, to guide each other, to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always look further upon us and not to test us with anything that we cannot bear. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all of our sins, forgive all of our shortcomings, and to allow us inshallah to be the best person that we can be, and to be great examples for those who are around us. Just like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companions were to us, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to include us inshallah among those who enter the Jannah without being questioned. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to join us with the prophets, with the righteous, with the martyrs, inshallah, and the Qiyamah in the highest Jannah inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.